All these ways of like how you're gonna hide your cash in the Balikbayan box. They're gonna put it in like a socks and then like roll the socks up, and then there's like money inside the socks. So you don't want to sort of go through and be like, I just got some crappy socks here. I'll just toss those in the drawer, but that's where your college tuition is, you know? Magandang gabi, Bayan. Ako po si Chris Urbano at today we're bringing you some more food and fun from the Philippines. And you know, I asked a question on my channel, what do you put inside the Balikbayan box? So what is a Balikbayan box? I think most Filipinos know what this is, but for the non-Tagalog speakers out there, Balikbayan kind of means like returning citizen. And what this is like, it's a special policy where the Bureau of Customs here will allow Filipinos to send up to one Balikbayan box per year. It's about 1 cubic meter of goods from wherever they are in the world back to their family in the Philippines. For all of our kababayans who have gone abroad and who then are remitting money and so on to their family, it's a way for them to like send back some goods so their family can feel their presence even though they're abroad. So for lahat yung mga ating kabanos sa abroad, today I wanted to get to the heart of what you guys like to send back to the Philippines. Anong pinaka top 5 producto type that gets sent in by our Filipinos abroad. We can all maybe learn off each other and be like, oh man, I should start sending that. So let's see how we go. Probably the most common answer we heard, and number 5 on my list today, is chocolate. This is a huge item that is sent through from wherever you are in the world. The chocolate will vary, but it's always going to be chocolate. I don't think too many people would send a Balikbayan box without some of it. Chocolate is really popular to send in Balikbayan boxes because the storage potential is great. It's going to make the trip a couple of weeks by sea freight to get into the Philippines. And also it's a product where like if you buy like really in bulk, you get those like giant oversized pack of M&Ms. It's easy to share with the buong barangay or with your whole extended family. Everybody gets a handful. Or they're in smaller packs. You can get like treat size ones. So you buy like the big bulk pack, but it's a treat size. So when you're in the province, you can just be like making it rain chocolate for all of your kabarangays. So that's always been really popular for that reason. And then iba't ibang country, my specialization ng chocolate. So the US, it's probably going to be like more processed factory chocolate, like Mars Company, Cadbury, that kind of thing. Whereas if you're OFW in Europe, you're probably going to send things more like the handcrafted Belgian chocolates or truffles, mga dark chocolate, mga ganon. And it's about letting your family experience kung paano yung chocolate dun sa abroad. I think it's like the psychology there, as well as who doesn't like chocolate. So next is coffee and or tea. Sorry to bucket them into one category. Kind of depends which you drink more of. But for some reason here in the Philippines, a lot of basic consumer goods cost way more than they should. So I think this is partly about letting your family try the stuff that you get access to abroad. But oftentimes I think Filipinos are just literally sending in big canned coffee because it's cheaper to buy it in US Costco or Walmart kaysa sa dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi ang problema dito na walang competition sa mga supermarket, diba? There's just like 2 companies on every supermarket. So funnily enough, any kind of imported goods in particular, sobrang mahal dito sa Pilipinas, like just crazy prices. So for that reason, even myself, like we ship in coffee and tea. In fact, where I get my coffee, I hand carry it from Indonesia. Because sometimes I go in there for business or for holiday, and I will buy like maybe 15 kilos of whole beans, like the good stuff, like really high grade, super premium Arabica beans from Indonesia. I was at Costco recently and I was like, wow, that like ginormous Nescafe is like a really good price. So I think I bought a couple of those to send in for my team. So we have instant coffee here at the office now for cheap. So it's a good one. So the next one is iba't ibang panglasa. Like seasonings, herbs, differently things that impart flavor in cooking. And I think, again, the psychology of this kind of stuff is you want your kabayans back home to be able to have a taste of where it is you live. So you see things like taco seasoning, fajita mix, gravy mix, right? It's one of our kabayans. Herbs and spices, special kind of like rubs for meat or seasoning for chicken, something like this. And what I found, because I've had Balikbayan boxes sent to me from different parts of my extended Filipino family, and it's never like the small seasoning because you got to fill up that whole Balikbayan box. So it's always like the 1 kilo of Jamaican chicken rub or something, and you're like, wow, this seems like such a good idea. And then you try to actually use it, and you're like, this is like a 5-year supply of this. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna need Jamaican chicken rub again, right? So it's pretty funny how big the packagings are. And then normally I find like I have bugs or insects get into the seasoning before I can possibly consume it. Sometimes I think maybe it would be better to have the smaller one in glass, but when it comes to Balikbayan box, it's all about quantity. free, right? So not complaining, but herbs and spices is a pretty common one that we see in our Balikbayan boxes here in the Philippines. Next, mga kabano, is olive oil and or olives. And I think this is partly because there's a lot of Pinoys now in the Middle East, but kahit na nasa US or Australia or UK ka, this is really something you should send in because for some reason, olive oil in the Philippines is just ridiculously overpriced. You go to kung halimbawa na supermarket and they're gonna sell you tingi like 250 ml bote ng olive oil. And it's gonna be like 300 pesos. It's like $8. And if you like multiply that up, because I think in liters in terms of olive oil, that's like $32 a liter for olive oil. So it's literally liquid gold if you can load up a Balikbayan box. That's something a couple of our kabanos mentioned when we asked this question, yung mga olive oil in particular. And if you're doing it right, you can buy good quality olive oil for like $5 a liter abroad. So it's a huge difference in the cost. And it goes pretty well, like it keeps for a long time, especially if you're buying the metal drums. So what I'm finding is I'm buying 4 of these 4-liter drums and just put the whole bottom of the Balikbayan box is the olive oil. And then I can put other stuff on top. And that would be like 1 or 2 years supply olive oil namura. It's like a huge cost-saving one. I've even sent the big drums, like the 20-liter drums, put 2 of those in the bottom of the Balikbayan box and send that in. So yeah, olive oil, that's a good one. The last one and number 1 on my list that we're going to talk about is of course cash. So who hasn't sent cash before in a Balikbayan box? You know you've done it. And this is a really funny one because firstly it's like the Pinoy trying to like get around paying the remittance company the 2%, whatever, because you know how nila ng mga fees nila, diba? And medyo malaki din yung fees. So you're like, I know, I'll put it in a Balikbayan box. And then it's really funny because there's all these ways of like how you're gonna hide your cash in the Balikbayan box. I've seen things where people will like hide it under one of the inner flaps in the Balikbayan box. You fold the box, there's 4 flaps. So you put the money in, then you close the other 2 underneath it, so it's like a false bottom. That's pretty clever. Some people will be like, they'll silip the pera inside clothing, so they'll like roll it up, or they're gonna put it in like a socks and then like roll the socks up, and then there's like money inside the socks, but you gotta know which socks it's in. So you don't want to sort of go through and be like, I just got some crappy socks here, I'll just toss those in the drawer, but that's where your college tuition is, you know. So there's a lot of different ways to hide it, but I love the concealment techniques of Filipinos. So that's some of the ones I've heard of, but you guys should leave a comment below with, have you ever tried to send money in a Balikbayan box? Be honest, I think we've all tried it. And what was your trick or gimmick to hide the money in the Balikbayan box and make sure that nobody finds it? And then did the intended recipient get it? Or did they be like, oh, this is just some crappy magazine, I don't want to read this. They toss it and that's actually like the money's inside. And if you haven't checked out Mikey Bustos' song Balikbayan Box to the track of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball, I highly encourage you to watch that. It's hilarious. It's one of my favorite videos he's done. So thanks for watching today, mga kabano. We actually want to make some more videos about this topic of Balikbayan because I think it's really, really fascinating. And I'd love to do like para yung crowdsourced edition ng itong type ng video. But I want to like hear from people in the different countries. So kung halimbawa na US-based Filipinos, anong specifically na ipadala mo sa Balikbayan box? Or if you're in the UK, what's the specific thing you send? Maybe the US guys, it's more like spam or canned goods, and the Canadians, I think, are going to be sending more like tinned salmon at saka yung maple syrup. But even the specific brands you send, or what's the weird stuff that you guys send from different countries? So if you can leave a comment below with what it is you send to the Philippines and what country that you're currently based in, I would love to hear from you on that. If you don't want to miss Maputing Cooking, there's like a little bell icon, I think here. I'm like pointing here, which I think is roughly where that is. If you can press the notification button, then you never miss another episode of Maputing Cooking, because then they're going to alert you when we release something so you can see it. So press the notification button if you can, mga kabano. And it's been great having you. Remember to leave your comments. I read everything. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next time. I'm Chris Urbano. Bye now.